Well, hello there, good people of the world. Welcome to another Flight Sim Safari video. Um, this is the second video of a 4-part series, which is trying to review a couple of add-ons that are supposed to enhance the scenery on Papua New Guinea. The first video, you'll find the link down below in the description. The first video was covering the first couple of airports that belong to the Highland Bush Strips Pack number 1. And that only contains like four airports, which are Yawin, Dinangat, Kazunambi, and Yellowmet. So we did take a look at these 4 airports, and additionally, I made a little mistake in the first video because I also included another airport, which is called Sapmanga. That actually belongs to the second pack. So today we're gonna start at Sapmanga, but since we've covered the quality of that particular airport in the last video, we're just gonna take off from here and then fly to the other airports in this particular pack. So we're going to take a look at 6 different airports today. Just fly to each one of them, take a look at how approachable they are, if the developer has actually cleared the approach and removed the trees that which might be an obstacle if you want to land at these strips and all that. And we're going to take a look at the actual scenery, how well developed they are, how well created, how creatively created they are. If he's just gonna, if the developer's name is Ken Hall, he's an indie developer, and he's created these 4 packs, the bush strip packs 1, 2, 3, and 4. And as I said, this is the second one. We're going to take a look at each one of these airstrips and find out how well they're made, what the scenery looks like, and if how much effort Ken actually put into creating these airfields and all that. So let's get this show on the road. We're going to fly with the Islander today because that is, I'm not going to have to deal with difficult weather if there is any. So the departure airport for today will be, let's take a look. What is the departure airport? Holy cow. I seriously don't know. Dinangat. That's the departure airport. So the the ACIO code is Alpha Yankee Delta November. Dinangat. There we go. And we're going to set the time to somewhere at sometime some morning time. Let's say 9:30. That's good enough. And we're going to start cold, ramp medium. The weather looks okay to me. Let's just go ahead and start the flight. So what I did essentially is try to create a little flight plan. I'm going to show you on little nav map. As you can see, I have created a flight plan that helps me finding each one of these airports. The first, we did fly to the first 5 airports, actually, Kazunambi and Yellowmet and Yawin, and that's the one from pack 2, Sapmanga. So we know that this one is okay-ish, I guess, as well. And here's Dinangat, and we're going to take off from Dinangat and fly to Isan airstrip. And that's the first one that we're going to review. It's only 11 miles away, so it shouldn't take too long to get there. Ready to fly. And I'm also going to create some, if you guys are somewhat bored by watching the flying part, I'm gonna there will be timestamp marks down there in the description of the video, so you can jump directly to each one of the airports. You don't have to watch me fly. There are some people who are not really interested in that. I totally understand. So here we go. Reset the view. Get rid of the yoke. Turn on all the electrical stuff and the lights. Make sure that the airport can pick up some fuel from the tanks. And there we go. Full forward, and make sure to rich, at least for the initial turning on the engine. So we have magnetos on all of the engines. Let's see. Seems to be working. The engine is running. Let's increase the idle RPM a little bit there. And we're going to put in the next waypoint, which is Isan Airstrip. It's Alpha Yankee India Sierra. Alpha Yankee India and Sierra. Come on, there we go. Isan Airstrip. That looks about right. We're going to configure the autopilot as well. Actually, with 11 miles, we don't really need an autopilot. It doesn't make any sense. Lower the flaps to takeoff position and make sure that our elevator trim is good for takeoff here. Man, it's moving really slowly today. There we go. Okay. Looks good. So the airport of Dinangat, as you can see, it's a bit of a sloped runway, and there's only one way to take off and land at. So that's the actual runway. We're gonna go there. It's got a quite steep slope here at the end, so we're gonna position ourselves there and roll down the airfield and the airstrip and then take off. It should not be any kind of challenge. Our initial course will be 337 degrees. After takeoff, we're going to make a right turn, I would say, as you can see here. It makes sense to make a right turn. The actual airport, we're going to take off from runway 29, and then we're going to make a right turn and follow this particular heading here. I'm not going to use any ATC today, but if we wanted to do it, then it would be nice to select the frequency. Dude, something is wrong with my headset. It would be nice to. Oh, wait a minute. We're going to take a look at I want to get rid of the co-pilot because he or she's blocking my view, and we need him anyway. So let's get rid of these guys. Fuel is good, and we're going to set the center of gravity to 22%. So this is better. I was saying, what was I saying? If we were to use ATC, I'd go ahead and turn on the CETA frequency and say something like Islander Papa 2 Delta Fox. Delta is taxiing runway 19er Denangat traffic. So here we are. There is a cow. No, that's a goat and a cock. Come on, move. Old hag. How about you move? There we go. Okay, let's see. We're gonna adjust the mixture here that we get the maximum performance of the engine for takeoff. There we go. So flaps are set, trim is set, autopilot is not set yet, but we don't need it anyway. Altimeter is set. ADC, we're gonna forget about that. Yeah, let's go. Airspeed's alive. We're at 50, 60, and 70, and this thing is gonna climb like a monkey as usual. It's almost boring to fly this plane because it's got such an enormous performance. So we can climb out of the valley. Raise the flaps. We need to keep them. Trim the nose up a little bit. What we could do is, I could of course try to climb above these clouds, above the mountains ahead, because that's where we're headed. We're going to fly through this valley here and see how it goes, because it looks nice. It really does. We're not that far away, as you can see, just 9 miles. It's not going to take long to get there. Now, I would probably call Port Moresby on the info frequency and request some flight following. I'm not going to do this today, but that would be, I think, the appropriate way to handle this. Eight miles to go. We're going to be there really quickly. And the approach is going to be interesting because we're going to fly through this gap here and then drop right on top of the airport. So the gap is also, once we have reached that particular gap here, then we're going to have to drop down really quickly and do an approach on Isan airstrip. There are different ways to actually land on that airstrip, I would say, but I think that we're gonna fly some left downwind and enter the circuit to land on runway 16 right there. Might be easier because this is an elevation that is higher, and the airfield is located on some kind of mini plateau here. So we're gonna fly a left circuit, turn right, and land on runway 16. That's my game plan for now. Let's see how it goes. Now we're going to take a look at the airfield from above. That's part of the review process. How it looks like from the air. So if you've been following the videos of this channel, I've been switching back and forth between the Islander And the Kodiak, I really like both of these airplanes. They're both awesome. They're slightly different in what they're meant to do, I would say. The Islander is more like as the name suggests, it's an island hopping thing, and it's better suited to if you're gonna really do some quick hops that are only a couple of miles away from each other, like the stuff that we're doing right now, because these are piston engines and they can take a lot more beating when it comes to making these short hops, starting the engine, then shutting it down again, starting it in a high frequency. So that's what the Islander can do better, because the piston engines are less prone to. Oh, there! Look at that. That's the airstrip. The piston engines can take more of a beating, like turning stuff on and off and all that. So we're not actually going to do a left circuit, but we're going to do a right circuit. Reduce the speed as much as humanly possible. Okay, so from up here in the air, it looks nice. There are a couple of huts there. And what is that? That seems to be some kind of wall, maybe. We're going to land there and take a look at all of this with the drone view, but first of all, we're going to try to land there. There are no serious obstacles in the way, so the approach should be rather easy, and the actual village looks rather nice. You can see where Ken tried to enhance the scenery, looking at the textures here. Everything that's a bright greenish hue seems to be something that was added by the add-on. We'll see how this goes. So let's make... Oh, I almost made a mistake here. Looking at the airfield too long, not paying attention to what's happening in front of me. So let's lower the flaps one notch. Fortunately, the clouds are not in the way, but as you can see, there would have been a chance that the view would have been a little bit obstructed by the weather, but it's not happening today, so we're going to have a nice approach. We're at 75 knots, that's a good approach speed. And then let's make a left turn, left base to final runway 16, I'm sorry, 16. Let's try to not lose too much speed here. Increase the manifold pressure a little bit so we're not going to drop too far. We're climbing. I was too low. So reduce the throttle here. Sharp final runway 16. Reduce the throttle even further. Oh, looks like about right. Should be a good landing. There's a bit of a slope here. We got. Okay. Interesting. Look at that. For the initial part of the landing. Oh, there's the. We're going to take a look at that in a second. where does the runway actually end? Right there. There's a downslope here. So you should have stopped at the top of this, at the top spot of this runway. Otherwise, you might have a bit of a hard time to actually stop once you're above the highest point of the runway. Okay, so let's park here. I'm not going to turn off the engines because we're going to take off in a minute anyway. Let's use the showcase, the drone view, and take a look what's happening here. As if you watched the first video, we found out that the that each one of the airports of the first pack were a little bit boring because there was nothing. There were no animations, no really special kinds of textures. He did a nice job of arranging the villages, but as you can see, things are continuing right here. There are a couple of people sitting at a campfire here. There's a goose and a cock, obviously, and a couple of pigs and all that. We had that before at the other airfields, at the other airstrips, but this is all static, so no animations whatsoever. Just a couple of people repeating textures. The huts look all the same. Even the texture for the I believe the texture for the clothing is also the same. I can see a couple of more people here than on the run than in the first pack, but the huts still don't have any kind of furniture in them. Personally, I feel that if you're putting the kind of work into this, it should not be too much additional work to just put some basic furniture into these huts, because obviously we're dealing with a simulator where you can walk around, you know. You can step out of your plane and walk through these villages and just add a little bit of detail to it, add a little bit of animation to it. Maybe the chicken might run around, or you have your odd cat or dog or something like that. I mean, the villages look nice. The textures are pretty nice. Each of the houses has kind of their own dirt patch where they're sitting on and all that. But still, it kind of feels static and lifeless to me. So I think looking at the price tag for each of these packs, they're 12. No, what was the price for them? Let me take a look. We're talking about Bush Strips pack number 2. It's about 13 euros or $15 US dollars. So I don't know. I've seen add-ons that were quite a bit more detailed and didn't cost more. So AYIS Isan, that's the airport that we're talking about. It's almost 7,000 feet high. Awesome. But it feels like that as well. If you take a look at the surrounding, it's very high up in the mountains, and it's actually fun to land there. There's another part of the village. I do not expect any surprises there, but for completeness sake, let's take a look. There is a fence here, which is huge. That one looks awesome, actually. That looks quite nice. It doesn't really look like it had a lot of repetition in the textures. Of course, he kind of, I know the tricks, you know. You turn around the objects so that it doesn't look all the same. But this, for example, this piece here and this piece are the same, but he just turned them around. So, but in the end, it looks great. I don't see anything wrong with that here. And a couple more huts, and a little bit of agriculture going on here, and a little bit. The village is quite big. this one here. There's another hut without anything in it. You know, that's just how I feel. I could have, it would deserve a little bit more detail, really. But apart from that, I think it's a nice airfield. It's a nice addition, and it looks quite a lot better than the original scenery from Flight Sim 2024, where you don't really have anything. It just feels a bit more natural. So let's get back into the plane flight to the next destination, which will be the airport of Tep Tep. It's just 3 miles away, literally. We can just jump up into the air and then land again. It's on the other side of the mountain. You can even, I think if we zoom out a little here, what is the ICAO code? Where's Tep Tep? There it is. We're just gonna have to turn off, to take off, make a left turn to a heading of about 300 degrees, and then we're at Tep Tep already. I don't even need to activate the navigation system for this. So, releasing the parking brake, increasing the throttle a little bit here. Flaps to takeoff position. The trim is still good enough. Altimeter setting is okay, I guess. Let's see about the mixture. Increase the throttle a little bit here to see how the mixture works or not. But there is the peak. There we go. This is what we're going to use. And make a left turn. And we're going to take off in this direction here. Just get back to the end of the runway. Turn around. And then fly to Tep Tep. Funny name. I have to turn here. It's a bit difficult. It's nice to have a split throttle and help this plane turn around just by putting power on the right engine and not on the left one, so it's going to turn around more easily. Takeoff, prop is set, mixture is set, flaps are set, altimeter is set, trim is set, we're good to go. Let's do it. And of course, if we were to use ATC, I would say taking off runway 16 north westbound departure. There we go. Ooh, that was a bit spicy here. Tep Tep. Where is it? Right there. Left hand side, just across this little valley here. We're going to leave the flaps down, and there's no point in raising them because we don't have to accelerate anyway. We're there almost instantly. So right there, behind this little hill, it's not even little, but behind that mountain range here, the ridge, we're going to be able to see Tep Tep. I love the mountain textures here. They look quite natural to me. Generally, the area here on Papua New Guinea is quite a sight. I love almost every inch of Papua New Guinea. It's quite awesome. There is the runway, as you can see. There is Tep Tep. I think we're going to do a flyover and take a look at it, what it looks like from the air, and then turn around and do an approach from the site where that we're flying over right now. It doesn't make any sense to approach from the other side because we have a slope runway here again. Obviously in this direction it's an upslope. So we're gonna just fly over this airfield and take a look at it. Things are spawning right now, one after the other. The closer we get, the more we're going to be able to see. There are a couple of huts here and there. The airfield itself is quite long. We shouldn't have any kind of problem landing there. Even more huts are popping up right now. Oh, it's quite a crowded village, really. The closer we get, the more huts are gonna come up. Increase the throttle here. It's awesome. It looks quite nice. Okay, let's make a left turn. Runway looks clear. No obstacles inside. Should not be any problem to approach. But there's one thing, as I said during the first video, to me it doesn't really make any sense to have these trees in the vicinity of the airfield. Look at these trees here. They're in the way. They're not really obstacles, but if you're failing on approach and you have some kind of, I don't know, crosswind or anything like that, it might be difficult to avoid these trees, because you're probably having a hard time to line up. So to me it doesn't really make any sense to have these trees still standing there. I would have cut them down, or in the case of the add-on developer, I would have just removed them to make sure that the approach is clear in every possible way. So let's lower the flaps fully. 74 knots. Since we're almost empty, the approach should not be any kind of problem. Let's make a left turn. We're going to have to lose some more altitude here. It shouldn't be a problem. Here we go. Left base. Turn to final runway 30. Yep, this is a bit of a sloped runway here. I don't know how much. It feels like it might be a slope of between 10 and 15 degrees, possibly. It's okay. There's no big deal with that kind of slope. We have a bit of crosswind from the right, just 3 knots. Not a big deal either. So this is going to be one easy landing. We've got so much space and no obstacles, no difficult wind conditions here. So this is the only thing that we're going to have to do is compensate for. As you can see, there's a bit of a decline here. We're going to have to compensate. Oh yeah, we're going to have to compensate for the upslope. It's quite a bit. I would say like 15 degrees, something like that. Okay, let's go to the top of the runway, park there, and take a look at the surroundings, what it looks like here. But I would say it looks pretty similar to the other airports. We're still missing the sign yet, what kind of airport this is. Apart from Pack 1, which... oh, there is a Pilatus Porter. Look at that. Apart from the airfields in Pack 1, every other airfield in Pack 2, 3, and 4, they do have these airfield signs, so you can see where we are actually. So here we are. Let's put in some parking brake and exit the plane using the drone camera. There we are. So, there's the porter. Let's get a bit lower. There we go. Yeah, the airport. Oh man. The airport signs Tep Tep, elevation 7,100 feet. Okay. ELC Tep Tep second. There's somebody standing here. Oops. He's seems to be a bit worried or skeptical, I don't know, but he's just standing there looking at the surroundings. There's somebody else feeding some chicken, and somebody standing on the front porch here. As you can see, these the models are all basically all look the same. They have the same kind of clothing, they have the same kind of colors, same faces and all that. So there's not a whole lot of variety to the people, to the human models. There are a couple of more huts here. They all look the same pretty much. What is this? Oh, they're little, the miniature aircraft hangars. I think these are actually supposed to be huts for some kind of livestock. Maybe the pigs are in the chicken, or you know. So as expected, there's not really a whole lot going on this airfield. The huts look the same all over the place compared to the other airfields. It looks like it could be a real village here in Papua New Guinea. The huts look realistic, to me at least. This here is something that I would have expected the add-on developer to actually try to get rid of this. If you're rolling down the hill here and you have difficulties to actually gain enough speed to take off before this little this place here, this little area where you have this I'm not sure how to describe it, this little hole in the ground here. If I was the add-on developer, I would have tried to get rid of this, because if you're actually accelerating down the hill here, you might be at 50 or 60 knots, and if you hit that hole in the ground, your plane's gonna get damaged. So I would have tried to get rid of this. Apart from that, it all looks quite nice. As I said, I would have also get rid of the trees here, at least those that are close to the runway. But apart from that, it's good enough for me to enjoy landing here and taking a look at the scenery. But still, it's not worth the money, I would say. If he would have given me the entire pack of all the airfields, like 20 airfields, then I would have gladly paid some $20. But there's not enough variety to actually make this what is the word? I'm looking for a word here. To dick.cc again. What's the word for this? To justify, exactly. To justify the price tag. Let's get back into the plane here and take off and take a look at the next one. The next airfield is Bambu, and it's got the designation Alpha Yankee Bravo Charlie. But we don't really need a navigation system for that either, so we're not going to set any kind of autopilot or GPS. No need to do that. As you can see, there's the next airport. We're just going to turn around. We're taking off from runway 12. Make a left turn, fly through this valley here. No, fly above the ridge, I guess. That's a ridge, actually. Try to make our way to the left or right. We'll see once we take off. And then fly over. It's a heading of about 318 degrees, so just 6 miles, 7 miles, not a big deal. Flaps to takeoff. Again, trim for takeoff as well. Reset the altimeter to the current setting. The mixture is good. Props are full forward. Trim is set, all blah blah blah, and we're good to go. Release the parking brake and increase the throttle. We still have more than enough fuel. Now, as you can see, we're going to go downhill right there. And this is the hole that I was talking about. If you have not enough speed to actually take off at the point I was taking off, you're going to hit this little hill right in front of the airfield, and that might not be the most pleasant experience, either for the plane or for the pilot. Raise the flaps quick enough here. Trim the nose up a little bit. And then we're going to make a right turn and fly to a heading of 318 degrees. That's the beauty of the Islander. It can climb really quickly. If you're pushing it, you can get climb rates above 2,000 feet per minute, which is awesome. You need to be almost empty for that, but still, the performance of this plane is impeccable. Alpha Yankee Bravo Charlie, you can see it right there on the GPS. This is where we're going to have to go. Trim the nose down a little bit. We're going to keep to, I don't know, is there a lake down there? There's something showing up on the radar here. It looks like a lake, but it isn't. Alright, we're going to fly through this gap here and then make a left turn a bit. Trim the nose down a little bit. We can take back the RPM a little bit to like 2,500. Adjust the mixture to get the best performance out of the engine. And the airport is at our 12 o'clock, about 5 to 5.5 miles away. Let's zoom in a little bit. It's not going to be on the top of one of those ridges, but there it is. This is the actual route. We can reduce the speed already. So looking at the current weather conditions or the wind conditions, I would say that approaching from we have a little bit of crosswind from the northeast. We might want to land on runway 07. So from this, we're going to approach from this side here. But first, we're going to make a little flyover and take a look at the airport from above. And then we're going to make a right turn into the circuit, make a left circuit. Again, we seem to have the situation that there are quite a lot of really nice, beautiful trees here, palm trees, but I would not put them right at the side of the airfield. It's just doesn't feel right to do that. They look awesome, no doubt about that, but just not something that I would do. So we're going to approach from this direction here. Oh, let's take a look at the slope. It really depends on if this is a slope runway. I cannot make out if it is. I mean, this airplane can even land on a downslope because the brakes are strong enough, but still we don't want to do a risky landing if it's not necessary. So let's fly over the airfield again and take a look at lower the flaps here and take a look at the slope. The easiest way to determine the at least roughly the amount of slope that you might have is taking a look at the trees. Usually they're standing up straight, and if you see some kind of weird angle happening, then you can be sure that there is some kind of slope on it. But it seems there isn't any kind of really difficult slope, so it doesn't really matter from which direction we are going to approach. So we're going to stick to the original plan and approach from this side here. I'll lower the flaps even further, increase the power a little bit so we're not going to stall intentionally. Let's take a look at the mixture here. Looks good. Trim the nose down a little bit. So I'd call traffic again and tell them that we've entered the circuit, and then made a left circuit runway 07, and we're turning left base 07. And then final 07. There we go. Trim the nose up a little bit, so we're not going to have to pull as much on the yoke. Increase the throttle just that, teensy a little bit. I want an approach speed that is somewhere around 70, so let's slow down. Here we go. Almost no wind happening. A little bit of headwind, which is nice. Here we go. Clear. Let it drop to the runway. Hit the brakes, and we're... Oh, there's a little bit of slope. I misjudged that. We do have a little bit of upslope here, which is nice. Makes things even more easy. So I would say that the reason that I misjudged this is that the trees, the add-on trees, are not standing here at the right angle. These trees are standing at the right angle. I'm not sure. Anyway, it looks nice. It's good to have another slope runway. Obviously, nobody's going to take off in this direction. We're just going to turn around, park the plane real quick, right here up at the end of the hill. Turn around. And stop for a quick review of the airfield. Here we go. Parking brake is set. Let's get out of here. Take a look at the showcase. Drone view. I'm not expecting anything interesting here beyond that, beyond what we've seen already. Again, there's a cock sitting on this little rock here, which is a nice touch. I like that. There's another guy directing the animals, and there are a couple more huts. But there's not a whole lot going on in this village. Somebody putting up some clothes to dry. But no kids, no gatherings, just your odd inhabitant. It really looks rather lifeless, so no surprises there. There's a airport sign which says Alpha Yankee Bravo Charlie Bambu, elevation 6,790 feet. Couple of goats, couple of rocks, couple of huts. There is a, what is this? That looks like a pool. Some weird. It might be the roof. If we zoom out a little bit, it might be the roof of something. That's a satellite view. If that's coming from the satellite image, I would say. The blue color looks a bit weird, but that doesn't really matter. So nothing really special going on here. Still your average huts. There are a couple of huts down there as well. So I'm not sure that if this still belongs to the center of this particular area. It's okay as all of the other airfields, but nothing special. Let's back into the plane and take a look at the next destination. The next one would be the airport of the airfield of Nankina. That's even closer, just 2.8 miles. That is, it doesn't get much closer than that. We're just gonna take off, I guess fly above the ridge here, and the airfield is just on the other side of that piece of hill here. So let's reset our things here. Trim still good, mixture is good. Let's reset the altimeter again. Nothing happening, and I think we're good to go. Release the parking brake. Flaps to take off. Good enough for us. There is a little bit of a hill in the way, but shouldn't really be of an issue. 60 miles. We can pull on the yoke already. And take off. This thing is climbing as usual, quite nicely. Nothing really interesting happening there. And as you can see, this is Alpha Yankee November Alpha. That is the airfield that we're looking at. And it's right there, I would say. So we don't even have to accelerate that much. We're gonna do a flyover, take a look at it, and hope for the best. Looks a bit weird. Oh, there it is. It's not this patch here, it's this one. So we can already reduce the speed significantly here. Then we're going to fly a little circuit, a left circuit, runway 32. We'll take a look at the slope. Oh, now the huts are popping up all over the place. There are a couple of huts. There are more huts coming up here. And the nice trees, as usual, they're, in my opinion, they're placed too closely to the runway. And I would say that we're going to approach from the other side. Because this tree is massively in the way of... And we seem to have a bit of a slope here. Slope runway. Again. So we're going to approach from this side. I mean, there's almost all of these airports in Papua New Guinea is, if we're talking about the Highland airfields, almost all of them are sloped in some way or another. So that's not a big deal. Lower the flaps again fully to down, trim the nose down a little bit, and do our usual routine. Reduce the power entirely, make a tight left turn to left base, and short final. So we're dropping to 70 knots here. We're not going to go any lower than that, considering that we're landing at an airfield that is going upslope a bit. We don't want to be too slow, otherwise we're going to stall onto the runway, which is not pleasant. Doesn't help the airplane, doesn't help the pilot. Here we go. 68, 69 is good enough, in my opinion. Trim the nose up a little bit. There we go. 66. Reduce the power completely. Drop onto the runway. Layer. And touch down. There we go. Brake. And roll up the hill. As usual, I'm not expecting a whole lot from this air script, but we're going to complete the inspection here as usual. Park at the end of the slope. Come on, girl. Turn around. There you are. Put on some parking brake. Okay, set the flaps to take off. Set the trim to take off. That's good. And exit the plane. Use the drone. I'm almost bored by now. So I'm gonna have to rotate my head a little bit. Yeah, there is the airport sign. Nankina, 5,800 feet. There is another hut. It almost looks the same every place, every little airfield. A couple of animals here. Some more huts there. Some more people. Somewhere maybe, I don't know. I'm a bit bored. There are a couple of pigs. So it looks nice. It's all right, but not worth $20. I'm sorry, $15. Let's get back into the plane. We did reset the trim. We did reset the altimeter. No, we didn't reset the altimeter. There we go. Takeoff trim. Let's check the mixture real quick. Make sure that something is wrong with the right engine. I think it when it turn on. Might have been a problem with idle. No big deal. Both engines are running. Let's take a look at the mixture. There we go. Good to go. Release the parking brake and take off. Trim those up a little bit. And the next airfield is on our left. And it's actually 20 miles away. It's almost worth activating the autopilot and putting in the destination on the GPS. So the destination at this time is the Nahu airstrip, Alpha Yankee November Hotel. Alpha Yankee November Hotel, Nahu airstrip, activate. Okay, we're about 19.2 miles away. We're gonna raise the flaps. Trim looks good. And we're gonna fly high this time because we can either take a long route around these mountains, which I don't see any need to do this, or we're just gonna climb really high there to cross these mountains up ahead, and then just drop again onto the next airport. I'll activate the autopilot. Let's go to 13,000 feet. That might be a good choice. Looking at the altitude of these mountains, activate vertical speed to 1,000 feet. That's the maximum vertical speed that you're going to get from the autopilot. Everything else you're going to have to do manually. I'm going to activate the autopilot, and hopefully it's going to lead us to the appropriate direction, destination. There is something that that wasn't plausible to me. As you know, I like to fly the Kodiak 100 from Simwork Studios. The Kodiak also has a representation of the Garmin G1000 system, the NXI. So what bothers me is the fact that you're not going to get in the Kodiak 100. You're not going to get the magenta rectangles. They have a certain they're called pathways. You're not going to be able to see them on the Kodiak. I was looking. You cannot even activate that kind of option in the G1000 of the Kodiak. So obviously the representation that they put in, the simulation of the G1000 that is present in the Kodiak 100, which is the 2020 version currently, the version for Flight Simulator 2020, the pathways just do not work. The option is grayed out. You cannot activate it. That's a bit of a pity because, I mean, we don't really need it desperately, but still, I like to have a complete system, and it seems that the G1000 in the codec is not complete. It is here. Let's adjust the mixture ever so slightly to get the most performance out of this plane. There we go. Yeah, awesome. We can reduce the RPM and go to like 2,300. That's good enough. Save some fuel here. The climbing performance is still impeccable. Papadu Delta Foxtrot Delta Resby info Papadu Delta Islander Papadu Delta Foxtrot Delta is where are we actually? We are about 50 miles is to the north. The other way around, 50 miles north, I'm sorry, south of Alpha Yankee Mike Delta, tracking 260, destination is Alpha Yankee November Hotel, request flight following. That's probably what I would say if I was an ATC right now. Might be an incomplete call, but I'm a noob. I don't know any better. We're almost there, 7 miles to go, so let's see, can we see anything yet? It is supposed to be somewhere up high, actually. Around 7,000 feet, and it's called Nahu Airstrip, but the area that it belongs to is called Gumbarami. Right there. That's a real Highland airport. We'll see. Should be up here somewhere. Or is it? No, it's actually down there. Oh dear. We're gonna have to drop some. Okay. Release, deactivate the autopilot and lose some altitude here rather quickly. So obviously, if we're looking at the airstrip here, there's only one way you can approach this, and that's from the valley down below, because there are the mountains are too high here. I would also expect this to be a slope runway, so once we're approaching from this side, we're going to fly uphill, as usual. No clouds in the way, really. These clouds are too high to be of any significance. They're no factor for us. Trim down the nose a little bit. So still, what we're going to do is try to fly above and make a left circuit. Make a flyover here, take a look at the surroundings. Anything special happening here? I wouldn't expect that, but still, you never know. As usual, we have our lot of palm trees here, and I have to take a look at the airspeed indicator here just to not overspeed too much. Yeah, there are huts, the usual huts, I would say. Nothing exhilarating, nothing exciting, just a bit of scenery. I really know what the final verdict for this is going to be, but I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to tell you this video. I want to keep my final verdict until the last minute of the last video. This is gonna be a series of 4 videos, so we're gonna inspect all 4 all 4 packages. So where is the runway? There it is. Big left turn. Where the heck is the runway? Can't see it anymore. Is that it? Yes, there it is. Okay. Reduce the speed. Turn the nose up a little bit. A little bit more. Lower the flaps. Prop foot forward. Make sure the mixture is good. It is. Flaps down fully. So there are no trees directly in the way, but still I would say I would have cut down the trees at this area here. Just to make sure that nobody's going to fly into them. We have a little bit of crosswind here, not too much, just 2 knots, but still. Here we go. I would have, oh man, this tree is in the way here. Yep, I know. Buttercup, I know. There we go. I was floating a little bit too much at the end there. Nahu. Here we are. Look at that. That is the end of the air. That's the end of the runway, so we're going to turn around here. And put in some parking brake. And get back into the drone and take a look, as usual. A hut. Another couple of huts. My plane. More huts. Even more huts. Huts. This particular kind of building looks weird to me. I mean, look at the architecture here. Look, it's not really it's probably not the most stable of constructions that you can possibly get. This little stick here is supposed to be holding all of this. I'm not sure. And I don't really understand what this little I don't know. Is that some kind of temple? But it doesn't really make any sense to me. When it comes to construction or architecture, it doesn't do anything that makes sense. Anyway, there are a couple. There's somebody tending to the crops. A couple more animals. Some more huts. Nothing we haven't seen yet. The village is extending to downhill here. It's all okay, I guess, but boring. If you've seen one airfield, you've definitely seen all of them when it comes to variety and stuff. Let's get back into the plane and take a look at the next airfield. Let's make sure that we're not overshooting our target for today. That was Nahu. We're going to approach the last one for the day, which is Guhu, the Guhu airstrip. That's the last airfield of the second pack, and that is right there. It's supposed to be grass strip. It's like 8 miles away, almost 9 miles. We can fly directly to the north. We don't need any GPS or anything. Just after takeoff, turn left, fly to a heading of 360 or 0 degrees, and then take a look what's happening there. Yeah, and that will conclude the second pack of airstrips. And after that, in the next video, we're gonna fly from this place here, and possibly, I'm not sure if I'm going to show you guys the actual flight here. I'm going to do it anyway because I'm interested in what it looks like, if it's any fun to do. There's Goroka, you know that from the Missionary Bush Pilot, that's his home base. And there is Nomani Airport. This is the first one of the third pack. So let's get airborne once more for this video. Trim is almost good. Flaps to take off. Let's reset the altimeter again. Let's make sure the mixture is nice and good and all that. There we go. This is the ideal setting for the mixture. Props full forward. Everything looks nice. Let's go. $40, $50, $60, and we are currently pull on the yoke and we're off. So let's trim the nose back a little bit. I can already raise the flaps because this thing is going to accelerate anyway, no matter what I do, almost. So we're supposed to be flying to the north. We're going to make a left turn here, fly above the ridge, make sure that we can get above these mountains. It's pretty high up there. Trim the nose up a little bit. Put that on the right display so I'm going to be able to see stuff. Zoom in a little bit. There we go. And fly to the north. Now we're going to keep to the right a little bit and fly through this gap here. We can already see Guhu airstrip on the display here. This is the airport that we're looking at. Alpha Yankee Golf Hotel. Let's adjust the mixture just a little bit here. There we go. Make sure we're not stalling. Keep the airspeed up. We actually might want to do a little circuit here. Is it going to work? Yeah, I think it is. Without losing airspeed. Should work. But for safety's sake, it would be advisable to turn right, do another little circuit, and gain some more altitude to get above this ridge. So would be the more cautious, more safe thing to do. But since we're in a sim, I'm just gonna fly above the ridge here. Not worry about it. Oh, pull, and there we go. Oh man, there's lots of clouds up here. Lots of dense clouds. I cannot see them on the radar, interestingly enough. Let's zoom out a little bit. There's nothing really happening, so the clouds are not too dense. But still, they're there. Here we go. We're going to fly. I'm going to activate the autopilot, but fly heading. And we're going to set a an altitude of 12,000 maybe. Vertical speed 1,000. Activate the autopilot. And fly heading in this direction. Okie dokie. And we might want to make a left turn to fly to Alpha Yankee Golf Hotel. And obviously we could also start our descent to that place and stop using the autopilot. It's just, you know, not worth the hassle. And fly through this gap here. We're doing VFR, so we're not supposed to fly through clouds. That's not allowed on, as far as I know, it's not allowed to do on Papua New Guinea. So we're adhering to the standards and flying, trying to find out some of the holes between the clouds. Here we go. Airfield should be visible already for us somewhere down here, I guess, maybe. Somewhere down here. Oh no, even closer. Where the heck? Down there it is. We're flying above it already. Holy cow, we're going to have to lose some more altitude. We're way too high. Let's zoom in a little on the map here. Is the airfield. There it is. Let's Make a right turn and take a closer look at it. I'm not yet sure from which direction we should be approaching this. Take a closer look at it. So this ridge, well, it would work, I guess. Too big of a deal. Trip those up a little bit, make sure we're not going to crash into a mountain flying through these clouds here, but I still can see good enough. So there's the airfield. Okay, produce the power. Now the question is, from which direction would it make sense? Looking at the wind situation, there's nothing happening at all in the air. So I would say we're going to approach from this side here. Make a right circuit. But let's fly above the airfield, take a close look at it. Again, we have the situation with all these trees that I would have cut down, at least the ones that are very close to the runway. How about you get rid of them, Ken? They're not doing anything good here. It looks pretty, but it's not helpful. There's another plane sitting here. It's obviously, it's another porter. Another Pilatus porter. Yep. So we're going to approach from this side here. The trees really are not helpful at all. Not at all. I don't know what he was thinking. Lower the flaps. We can lower them fully. Make a tight right turn. We're trim the nose down a little bit and then make a right turn. The airfield, there it is. Let's not lose too much airspeed doing these turns. Just the mixture. There we are. I'm not sure what the best approach would be. Right now I would say this direction here might be the right one, but the trees are somewhat in the way. I don't really like that, and we're a little too fast anyway, so we're gonna do a left circuit now and approach from the other side. Since there is almost no wind, we have a little bit of tailwind, but it's not really a factor. We're going to approach from the other side. I would suggest that's the preferred direction anyway. Looking at the way the airfield has been arranged, how it has been built. So we're going to have to make a tight left turn now. Increase the throttle. So we don't stall, make any mistakes here. There we go. Glad there are no passengers aboard, otherwise they might want to puke. we're still too fast. Flaps are down. Way too fast, but on the other hand, shouldn't be a problem really. 71 knots, full flare, and touchdown. There we go. There's the quarter. A bit upslope here, so landing with a higher speed is not a problem anyway. So let's park beside the porter. We can already turn off the engines here. Cut off, shut down. There we go. Electrical stuff off, lights off. Parking brakes on. Oh, I forgot the flaps. Let's turn back on the electrical stuff to raise the flaps. I like that better. Tidy stuff up. Okay, so let's do the last inspection of the day. Get out of the airplane. There's the porter. There's the runway. Nothing happening on this side of the runway. So let's take a closer look at the village here. There's another little hut with nothing in it. Not even a single soul. There's a path through the forest. A couple of huts here and there. Nothing spectacular as usual. On board as usual. You know, some Easter egg would be nice. That's the entry of the village at the end of the runway. Is there a runway sign? At least that. That is Guhu. Elevation 3,000, almost 4,000 feet. There is another lawnmower. You know, might be a bit under stress considering the length of the runway. Not sure if they're going to be able to use this for cutting the grass on the runway. There's a couple of fuel drums, but you know, not really happening anything here. So that was the second video of the series. We took a look at all the airports of the second pack, and as expected, there wasn't a whole lot happening here either. Just like the first pack, there's a lot of repetition of textures, a lot of repetition when it comes to the actual 3D models of the huts and the people, all static, no animations whatsoever. So it looks kind of nice if you're approaching and if you're landing, but if you want to explore, there's nothing here to explore really. And I don't think it's worth the money. I would pay, as I said, I would pay like half the money, maybe $5 to $6 for all of this. But I mean, it's better than nothing. So looking forward to the third video. I'll see you on that one, and somewhere else as well. Some of our tours and the bush divers stuff and so on. So take care. See you soon. Bye.